What if you had a crystal ball for your weekly schedule? Not to see the future exactly, but to proactively shape it. Let me show you my predictive spread, a game changer for planning your week before it even begins. Welcome to Bullet Journaling with Eve, and as always, let's start with materials. You will need a bullet journal, then I will use these two Ohuhu acrylic markers in metallic cyan and metallic mint. Then I will use this dark green dual tip marker that I found on Amazon. After that, I will use these two Unipin point liners in two sizes, 0.2 and 0.05. Then I will use these Faber-Castell aquarelle pencils. You can see the barcodes of the ones that I will be using. After that, I will also use my eraser, then my pencil, a ruler, this stencil 13 from Amazon, and I will use these butterflies as my stencils for my Luna mod. In 2025, our lives move faster than our to-do lists. A static spread cannot keep up with shifting deadlines and energy dips. Here is why I created my predictive layout. When you look here on Monday, I end work at 4:30 p.m. I'm a little bit tired after that, but when that happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays again, I have huge energy dips, and this then reflects on my Friday. I need to find a way to keep up with these problems. For example, on Wednesday I have the shortest day at work, so I should make use of it. And I should also use Saturdays and Sundays to do some things that I want to do that are not related to work. Now, let's look at my mood tracker, because here I also had a tracker for how tired I feel. And if you look here, you can see that I'm usually tired on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And now, how can we use that to predict our weekly spread so we escape this tiredness on those particular days? Here I already sketched everything. And on the right, I have space for 5 days. I used 1/4 of my page for Saturday and Sunday, and on the left, I have everything that I have to take into account when designing this spread. I have some core categories that I will focus on and then apply those in my daily logs. Then I have some trigger points and then some scenarios for how I can handle this. And then I have my weekly actions. As you remember, I didn't include my weekly actions here in my calendar, and I didn't include them in my habit trackers and mood trackers as well, because when I did it like that, I forgot to mark when I do something. So I need to have that in my weekly spread. And now, when I have already talked about everything, now it's the time to look at each segment separately, discuss why it is important, and how you can use this to predict your weekly spread. And organize it in that way so you are not tired and you have enough energy to do everything that you want to do. As I always do, I will start with my decoration. And I'm using this stencil from Amazon, and now I am adding just slightly bigger wings to my Luna mod, so it looks like a Luna mod and not just like any ordinary butterfly. And then I will use my metallic markers to add dates and decorate my spread. When I'm done with decoration, it's time to focus on each segment, and I will start with these core categories. I designed my core categories based on my Wheel of Life. I will use this dark green dual tip marker to write the titles. Then with the 0.2 unipinpoint liners, I will add these subtitles. And with 0.05, I will add all of these little plans and weekly actions and everything else. I talked about why it is important to review your weeks and your monthly spread as well in my previous video. If you missed that last review, I will link it here so you can check it out. But now, based on my wheel of life, I need to focus more on work because this is something that brings me money and this is something that I need to do. And I divided it into teaching, grading, and meetings. Then I have the part that I marked with a heart, and this is my health. I will try to do the low-carb, high-fat diet, workout, and when possible, I will walk home. Then I have my English tracker for English learning, and here, as you can see, my English tracker is already prepared. There is reading, exercises, and some learning sessions. Now let's look at the next segment of this spread, and that's trigger points. Based on a review of my previous weekly spread, I identified some trigger points. For me, I'm tired after work on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm also tired on Tuesdays, but there is no Tuesday in this weekly spread at the beginning of October because October begins with Wednesday. So I will just skip that one, but I will leave one slot here to add even more things if I identify them during the week. Then I have a scenario playbook. I need to have at least 2 plans for what I can do if I get to this trigger point. My plan A, if I'm tired after work on Thursday, is to schedule only light admin work at school. Do nothing else or nothing more than block the evening for some rest and self-care. Or, for very low energy levels on Friday, I added a walk home because this usually gives me more energy than it takes. And also, I will accept only minimal tasks and I will go to sleep earlier. Then, I will just quickly write down my weekly actions. This is not something that is related to this weekly spread, so I will not talk about that. But now let's focus on the right page. Here you can see that I added one space for each day to mark if my prediction was accurate. I will just mark if this prediction was accurate or not. And then I will also write one tweak for next week. What is something that I missed while I was planning this one? And in my next video that I will upload next Friday, we will review how this worked. And if it worked, great. If I need to do some different adjustments, I will do different adjustments. But this is something great about bullet journaling because you can easily look back and do everything better. And the only thing that you need to do is to write down things while they are still fresh. If I write down one tweak for next week each day, then this is still fresh. And I know what these triggers were. Now let's look back at what we have created together. You should find some key core categories that you want to focus on. Look back at your weekly spreads and monthly layouts and find out what your trigger points are and try to find some plans A and B for how you can handle this. And then always include space for reflection. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and press the notification bell so you never miss any of my future videos. And I will see you in the next one when we will discuss if this future-proof weekly spread works. See you! Bye!